Hello and welcome. You are watching World Business Report here on News 9 Live. I am Krishna Kumar. We begin with a big global business story that we're tracking here on the show, and it's got to do with Boeing. The Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA in the US, has made the decision to halt production expansion of Boeing's 737 series of aircraft while concurrently granting approval for the Boeing 737 MAX 9 to resume flights. The blowout of a cabin panel on the 5th of January this year led the aviation regulator in the US to ground 171 Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets, and it resulted in the cancellation of thousands of flights by US carriers Alaska Airlines and United Airlines. The CEOs of both these carriers have expressed frustration with Boeing after the issue, the most serious in a recent spate of apparent manufacturing flaws on Boeing's aircraft. The aircraft on the Alaska flight was delivered late last year. The FAA has set to halt the expansion of the production of Boeing's best-selling 737 MAX narrow-body family, and it said that was needed to ensure accountability and full compliance with the required quality control procedures. Now, shares of Boeing fell about 4% in after-hours trade on Wall Street after the announcement. And talking about Wall Street, streaming giant Netflix was not the only dominant factor as far as the entertainment landscape was concerned, but it was also making waves in the financial world as it contributed to propelling the S&P 500 to yet another record high. And it wasn't just Netflix, the entire tech pack, especially chip maker Nvidia and Broadcom, both jumping by more than 2% and hitting record highs in trading. Traders exchanged over $34 billion worth of Nvidia shares on Wall Street, more than any other stock on Wall Street. Here is a detailed report from Reuters. Take a look.
The S&P 500 eked out its fourth straight record-high close on Wednesday amid an otherwise mixed day for stocks as Netflix surged following a blowout earnings report and Microsoft crossed the $3 trillion mark. The Dow dipped 0.25%, the S&P rose marginally, and the Nasdaq added more than 0.33%, reaching its highest level since January 2022. The tech-heavy index was powered by chip makers, which notched significant gains, and in part by Microsoft. Shares of the world's most valuable company hit an all-time high, lifting the tech giant's market value above $3 trillion for the first time. Alphabet and Meta platforms, also part of the Magnificent Seven megacaps, each gained over 1%. But Tesla lagged. Shares of the electric vehicle maker, which closed down more than 0.5%, shed 2.5% in after-hours trading after the company warned of a notable slowdown in vehicle sales growth this year. Keith Buchanan, senior portfolio manager at Globalt Investments, says Tesla is not immune to the growing pains that come with an expanding EV market.
Now the electric vehicle market is broad, it's global. There is some it's moving into a phase beyond just the infant growth that it was in 2005, 6, 7, and 10. And Tesla's competing in a more competitive marketplace. So it's not necessarily a huge slight on the part of Tesla that they're having to compete in ways that they didn't 10 years ago. It's just part of the market in its maturation phase, and it's the way it develops as a company and as an industry that seem pretty natural at this moment.
In other company news, shares of Netflix jumped more than 10.5% to a two-year high on the back of strong subscriber growth powered by a crackdown on password sharing and a robust content slate. Chip makers Nvidia and Broadcom both jumped more than 2% and hit record highs. Traders exchanged over $34 billion worth of Nvidia shares, more than any other stock on Wall Street, according to LSEG data. On the flip side, AT&T dropped 3% after forecasting annual profit below expectations, while DuPont slumped 14% after forecasting a fourth-quarter loss.
Now, breaking financial records, Microsoft has achieved a remarkable milestone as its market capitalization has crossed the monumental $3 trillion mark. Now, simultaneously, tech giant's stock has also reached a 52-week high as well. The shares of Microsoft were trading at $403.78 per piece on the NASDAQ on Wednesday, reflecting an over 1% increase. The day commenced with the stock opening at just about $401.48, surpassing its previous day's closing price of less than $400, which is about $398 per share. Now, reports say much of Microsoft's gain is a matter of investor optimism, really, regarding artificial intelligence and its capacity to propel both earnings and revenue growth at Microsoft. Microsoft, positioned as one of the primary beneficiaries of artificial intelligence, is capitalizing on this trend through its collaboration with Sam Altman's OpenAI. The company has introduced AI-enhanced services, contributing to all the positive perception that it's getting from investors, markets, and customers alike. Keeping it with the tech space, but moving to chip makers. Why are Nvidia's shares buzzing, and why is there so much news about chip maker Nvidia on your social media feed? Now, according to some news reports and, of course, social media trends, U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi has achieved significant financial gains from her recent investment in Nvidia Corp. On the 22nd of November 2023, Nancy Pelosi acquired 50 call options for Nvidia with a strike price of $120, expiring on the 20th of December 2024. Now, the transaction value ranged between $1 to $5 million. As of early 2024, Pelosi has reportedly made nearly $500,000 from this investment already, surpassing her annual government salary of just about $223,500. Now, this gain is attributed to Nvidia's stock performance, which has seen a rise of over 21% in value since Nancy Pelosi's acquisition. And the National Science Foundation announced on Wednesday in the US that it is teaming up with some of the biggest names in technology like Amazon, Anthropic, Hugging Face, IBM, Intel, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, OpenAI, and Palantir, among others, to launch the National Artificial Intelligence Research Resource, or NAIR, a pilot program. Meanwhile, data center operator Equinix and Nvidia have partnered to offer Nvidia's supercomputing systems to corporate clients, making it easier for companies to own their own AI or artificial intelligence computing systems for privacy and security reasons. Here's more in a detailed Reuters report. Now, Netflix did dominate a trading day on Wall Street, but Netflix is continuing its streak of success, breaking records with popular series like Crown and Killer. Now, the streaming platform's prowess is creating captivating content, not only leading to a surge in viewership, but also contributing to Netflix stock hitting new record highs.
Don't really understand how I ended up here.
Netflix has ended up on top, driven by hit shows like The Crown. The royal drama helped it post record subscriber growth for the fourth quarter. On Tuesday, the streaming giant said it had added 13.1 million new customers over the period. Analysts had forecast just under 9 million. The numbers saw Netflix shares surge over 8% in after-hours trading. The company credited a strong slate of content, which also featured titles like Hitman movie The Killer.
Stick to your plan. Trust no one.
At $8.8 billion, revenue also just beat estimates. Looking at the figures, one Bank of America analyst said it was clear that Netflix has won the streaming wars. The firm said it expected double-digit revenue growth in the year ahead, with more subscribers and rising income from advertising. Over 2024, it will boost investment in content to as much as $17 billion. It also continues to invest in live programming. Earlier Tuesday, it announced a deal valued at over $5 billion to bring some World Wrestling Entertainment content to the platform. Netflix also has a fledgling gaming business and has even launched its first stage show, a play based on hit supernatural drama Stranger Things.
From OTT to stage, looks like Netflix has got everything covered. Shifting focus away from all of that. Amid the ongoing financial tumult surrounding China's property market, and especially China's property giant Evergrande, a significant development has emerged as an offshore bondholder group has announced its decision to join the liquidation petition. The bondholder group owns more than $2 billion in offshore notes guaranteed by China's largest property developer Evergrande, and its support in a winding up petition against the world's most indebted property developer could increase the chances of an immediate liquidation order from the court. Evergrande defaulted on offshore debt in late 2021, becoming a symbol of the debt crisis that has engulfed China's property sector. And with that, it is time for a very short breather here on World Business Report. We'll be back with lots more on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
हमारी नारी शक्ति को सशक्त करने से ही देश सशक्त होने वाला है।
हर महीने महिलाओं को 1500 रुपए प्रति माह दिलवाया जाएगा।
What Nitish Kumar did to provide cycle to girls, so they could safely, quickly move out of the house, go to school, and quickly come back. Tring, 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 tring.
माँ अन्नपूर्णा तू ही, माँ अन्नपूर्णा है तू ही वीणा वादनी, हे शक्ति स्वरूपा जगदम्बा, हे नारी तू नारायणी।
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Time now to put the focus here on World Business Report on electric cars, and in specific, the most famous electric car company in the world, Tesla. Elon Musk's Tesla is all set to embark on a brand new venture by commencing the production of an affordable car slated for release next year. Bear in mind, this news comes even as news has emerged of Tesla being all set to launch a car in India at just about $25,000 or about 20 to 22 lakh rupees. Take a look at this report.
Tesla cars could soon be getting more affordable. Reuters sources say the firm has told suppliers it wants to start mass production of a cheaper model in mid-2025. Two of the sources described the vehicle as a compact crossover. Right now, Tesla's cheapest car is the Model 3, which starts at just under $39,000 in the US. But boss Elon Musk has long vowed to deliver a much cheaper vehicle. He's promised to make one that can be sold at $25,000. That plan may now be more urgent. Tesla faces mounting competition from rivals like BYD, which can undercut it on price. The Chinese firm overtook Musk's company as the world's top maker of EVs in the final quarter of last year. High interest rates are another worry. They could crimp demand for relatively expensive cars like Tesla's. Now the Reuters sources say a model codenamed Redwood is being prepared for its debut. They say Tesla has contacted suppliers about parts. It has forecast weekly production of 10,000 units, with output to begin in June next year. However, analysts warn the firm has a long history of missing targets for launch dates and pricing. The firm didn't comment on the reports, but Musk did say last year that Tesla was working on 2 new products with a potential for combined sales of 5 million units per year.
Right, Tesla is known for missing its deadlines, because bear in mind that car that was supposed to come to India from Tesla was announced back in 2020, more than 3 years ago, but we're hoping that it finally reaches India by 2024. So keeping it here with Tesla on World Business Report, the EV giant is facing a nuanced challenge as it has issued a warning of anticipated slower volume growth in the year 2024, as in it expects to sell lesser number of cars. In terms of the number of cars, its growth is said to be lesser in the year 2024, and this cautionary note comes in the wake of a decline in profit margins of the EV car maker as well. More in this report.
Tesla, after the closing bell Wednesday, warned of a notable slowdown in its vehicle sales growth this year. It also posted sales and profit in the fourth quarter that missed analyst expectations, while its gross margin declined. The electric vehicle maker cut prices and offered incentives last year to boost demand. Tesla said lower raw material costs and U.S. government credits helped lower cost per vehicle, but Cybertruck production and AI and other research projects increased costs. After years of breakneck growth, Tesla is dealing with softening demand for electric vehicles and intensifying competition from rivals, including BYD. The Chinese company, which has a less expensive and more varied lineup, became the top EV maker by sales in the fourth quarter. Reuters earlier reported that Tesla has told suppliers it wants to start production of a new mass-market electric vehicle, codenamed Redwood, in mid-2025, likely a compact crossover. The company only said Wednesday that volume growth may be notably lower than the rate achieved last year, as its teams work on the launch of the next-generation car. Shares of Tesla fell 3% in after-hours trading.
Shifting focus away from Tesla and electric vehicles, how are bots elevating market dynamics? And what is the buzz around artificial intelligence at the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland? Here's a comprehensive roundup of the major developments in the world of artificial intelligence. Take a look.
From a bullish outlook for chips to how bots took center stage at Davos, this is Generation AI. Taiwan chip giant TSMC has given global stocks a jolt with its outlook for AI demand. It's targeting over 20% revenue growth this year, driven by booming demand for its high-end chips. The news sent its shares soaring, cementing TSMC's title as the most valuable listed firm in Asia. US stocks are officially back in a bull market too, and investors have AI to thank. Shares have powered higher amid gains for firms like Nvidia. That helped drive the S&P index to record closing highs over 2 straight sessions. Artificial intelligence was one of the hot topics at this year's World Economic Forum Summit in Davos, Switzerland. OpenAI's Sam Altman was in town, and the subject cropped up everywhere. World leaders like Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar say societies need to prepare.
Maybe it'll enable us to work less. Maybe it'll be possible if it's distributed fairly, of course, to allow people to have shorter working days and shorter working weeks with the help of AI. But that won't just happen organically. We'll have to make that happen.
OpenAI has banned the developer of a bot that mimicked Democratic presidential hopeful Dean Phillips. That's according to the Washington Post. It marks the first time the ChatGPT firm has acted to stop the misuse of its tools in a political race. And Meta is ramping up its efforts. By the end of the year, the Facebook parent expects to have an arsenal of some 600,000 AI chips. That could massively outgun rival efforts at Amazon and Oracle.
Now, away from artificial intelligence, as general elections in Pakistan inches closer, former Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has called for new ideas and leadership to calm both the political as well as the economic instability in Pakistan. Bhutto Zardari plans to tap into the widespread anger across the country, saying that he has a concrete plan to provide everything from free electricity to other things and boost social safety programs in Pakistan despite all the fiscal constraints that is facing Pakistan's economy. Listen in.
Because I am also young myself, I think there's a lot of ability to relate there. And at the same time, our policies, our agenda that I launched earlier today, I think addresses many of the issues that affect young people all across the country. And this is something that we learned as a result of the devastating floods that I experienced firsthand. We experienced firsthand here in Sindh and across the country. That what we propose is to completely restructure Pakistan's development model, putting the threat of climate change front and center. We are facing a perfect storm of crises. The economic crisis that we're facing is one of the worst in our history. The security challenges that we're facing risk pushing Pakistan back to the far more difficult time when we used to have terrorist attacks every other day across the country. As far as the geopolitical challenges in this part of the world is concerned, that poses a whole other set of challenges, and within that context, I don't think we have time to waste on politics as usual.
Away from Pakistan to Egypt, where in a bold move to shape Egypt's capital Cairo's historic center, Egypt's Sovereign Wealth Fund is in the final stages of crafting a comprehensive master plan, with government ministries having largely shifted to a new capital in the east. The focus now is on revamping Cairo's historic city center. Take a look at this.
Cairo's historic center is getting a new look. Egypt's Sovereign Wealth Fund is finalizing a master plan to revamp the area. Now that government ministries have largely moved to a new capital to the east, the fund expects to take over many former government buildings. Ayman Soliman is the CEO of the fund.
So we want to revitalize downtown Cairo to really live up to its true potential. Hospitality, which is lacking in downtown Cairo, leisure, cultural outlets, office space for startups and business process outsourcing, and a little bit of long-term stay apartments, and there is a big push towards that as well.
The historic center was modeled on Paris in the 1860s. It is filled with elegant but crumbling buildings that were nationalized in the 1950s and 1960s and left in disrepair. The new plan will discourage some activities, such as warehousing and storage, while encouraging others, such as tourism. Soliman did not rule out reports that a soaring skyscraper could be constructed. But the new plan provides a preservation of architectural styles through a permitting system, weekend pedestrian zones, and the creation of parking garages will also be in place. Soliman added that the sprawling former Interior Ministry compound would include a 3-star Moxie hotel by Marriott.
We have aspirations for more buildings to come our way. We've received already interest from a lot of developers to come in, especially after the announcement and the progress on the privatization of the hotels. All of those are positive, encouraging elements.
Soliman added that the work on the ground would begin, quote, probably within the first half of this year.
And with that, we've completely run out of time here on this edition of World Business Report. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.